good. So next thing, my man Stephen A. Smith.
Oh.
When I read about that, that was super dope because seeing somebody that, I mean, really, I didn't start watching First Take like religiously until I'll probably say I was about in the 8th grade, 9th grade when LeBron, when he actually was signed with the Heat. Yeah, so that was like 2011. And when it was Stephen A., Skip Bayless, Kerry Champion, that needs to come back. Like, that was the crew. But Stephen A., man, he's brought so much. And I remember seeing Stephen A. as a kid when he had a show, and y'all might have just forgot about this. It was called Quite Frankly. And he had Allen Iverson come on there one time. Yeah, so it's like seeing how Stephen A., he just evolved over time. Like, he's been so consistent. HBCU, Winston-Salem. So the fact that he had all the odds stacked up against him. And my professor for sports journalism was actually his first news director. And he told me that when he had Stephen A., I think for CNN Sports for like a short amount of time, he already knew that he'll be a just amazing, great guy. And then like 10, 12 years later, here he is, or 20 years later. So he's been grinding for a very long time. And getting paid 10 to 12 million per year, like that's an NFL salary.
For those who don't know why we're saying this, it's because he just became the highest paid
analyst
ever.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he's getting 12 million per year because Skip Bayless, his contract that was deemed as like the biggest one, but that was 5 years, 25 million. But now Stephen A., he's getting 10 to 12 every year for however long. So that's going to be coming every single year. But I think it's beyond well-deserved. Me and my friends have a joke like in a group chat that you can turn it on at any time on ESPN and you're going to see Stephen A. Smith. Like, it can be for First Take. No, actually, Get Up in the morning. He'll be on Get Up with Jalen Rose. Then you'll see him on First Take from about 10 to 12. Then he has the Stephen A. Smith radio show from about 1 to 4.
See, that kind of makes
And then you got NBA talk.
I mean, that's good for him, that's good. But then it's like, look how powerful he is. His opinion, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And in a society where there's so much group thinking, it's like, do we have to, he's very influential on the way people decide. So
he is.
I don't know.
And he's very unapologetic. And I know some things that he might say black people might not fully agree with, but I like how
what does he have to say that has to do with race? Don't they just...
Oh, he says a lot about race.
He do say, like, I think a lot of people, because I think it's more that he call us out on national TV.
Oh, really?
Yeah, stuff like that you're supposed to say, like, behind closed doors.
There are no closed doors.
That's what I'm saying. Bro.
Especially when you in that.
Like,
when players protest, what's his stance on that?
I don't know exactly his stance, but, like, when players do dumb shit.
Like get arrested,
he'll call them out, like, what?
Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon, like, get off the weed. Like, and people get mad when he calling people out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I feel it. And, too, at the same time, I think it was with LeBron when he was talking about how when athletes or black athletes in particular try to talk about politics and things like that, white people try to push us to the side. Stephen A. Smith, he stood up on that issue and he was saying, how like that's not fair. Black men have a voice. So I respect him because the fact that he's so pro-black or that he's just comfortable, in his own skin and that he works so hard. Stephen A. Smith does. He works extremely hard.
He a cool dude in person.
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Oh, yeah, you saw him as
super
well.
Cool. Like,
that's what's up, man.
Like, just the vibe I got from off camera, you can just tell that on camera it's an act. Like, he just...
Oh, he just, pushes the envelope,
a little bit more
to say, right,
in person with him, like, he a cool dude.
That's what's up, man.
He like
regular dude.
No Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
Cool dude.
I love it. Too, like him just achieving this, because I remember when he posted on his Instagram, I think it was on Thursday, that he thinks that he has more of an influence or more of a purpose than a LeBron James and Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, because not everybody can be 6'9" and high flying and have a crazy basketball IQ, but everybody can potentially be a Stephen A. Smith, where you can just perfect your craft, keep grinding year in, year out. And two, me and Sid, we were having this conversation on the way here. A lot of journalists aren't versatile. So a lot of journalists don't know how to write. Or if they know how to speak well, like Stephen A., if you ask them to write me this feature story on Quavo or on Offset or just about the AJC, they can't write you a story. But Stephen A., he actually started off as a writer. So I think that the fact that he writes, he does producing stuff, and he does on-camera talent, like that's very impressive. And he's been doing this for 20 years,
So you think that it's deserved, his salary?
It's well-deserved because, again, you could turn it on ESPN at any time of the day and you're going to see Stephen A.'s face. And two, during basketball season, during the finals, you're going to see him on First Take. You're going to see him on Get Up in the Morning. Then he's going to have his radio show. And then you're going to see him on the basketball talk show. And then once the basketball game is over with, you're going to hear him give his analysis at like 11 o'clock at night. And then he's going to do it all over again for 5 days throughout the week. So I think that it's well-deserved. It's well-deserved. And he has a podcast as well. And
Damn.
that was his statement right there.
He definitely working for his money.
Yeah, most definitely. Because I remember at a Lakers game,
Right.
one time he was sitting in the stands and he was actually off that night. He still gave his input on the game after the game. So he still talked to ESPN, all that stuff. So even when he's not supposed to be working, like he's always working. So.
Well, he's doing what he loves to do, so it's really not a job. You know what I mean? So that's
exactly.
I like to see people that find their purpose like that, and that's what he's saying. One of the statements that he made, a quote from him, for the Jay-Z's and LeBron's, Shaq's, and others, I don't consider them the American dream. I consider me the American dream. They're the American fantasy. You got a good one and a billion shot, if not more, to be them, but you can be me. You can be Stephen A. Smith. Okay.
That's real.
All right.
I love it. HBCU.
Oh, yeah, he went to
Winston-Salem.